What if I told you you can turn these oil drums into cash? And the best part is you can get them for free. Stick around because I'm going to show you how I take these oiled oil drums, flip them and turn them into burn barrels and make extra income. All with minimal effort and investment.
That sounds like a shitload of work.
Now, before you consider selling burn barrels, do you live in the right area? If you live in an urban area like the center of the city, it's likely no one around you is even legally allowed to use burn barrels without a permit, so it wouldn't make much sense for you. But if you live in a suburban area, you should look more into it. Check with your town and see the laws and permits required. If they have a strict open fire policy, this will mean you won't get many customers. If you live in a rural area, everyone here got or needs a burn barrel. Usually because in rural areas, you'll have a lot more land. And with land comes more grass clippings, trees, leaves, twigs, and branches. And you may also burn cardboard, garbage, old clothes, or just want to have a backyard fire with wood and keep warm. Usually in these areas, permits are not needed, but there are still rules and laws to abide by. Also consider the space needed to store these barrels and the noise making them may cause. So once again, it's ideal if you live in a rural area. Oil drum, steel drum, 55-gallon drum, or oil barrel, whatever you call them, they're everywhere. Construction sites, auto shops, wineries, food manufacturers, car washes, driveway sealing companies, cleaning companies, etc. It doesn't really matter what was in them, they're being used as burn barrels, just as long as they're empty. You don't want to get stuck trying to get rid of hazardous waste, and if you can help it, avoid barrels that had flammable material in it. These steel drums may have many other uses like a smoker, fire stove, fire pit, or a charcoal retort. You may even come across food-grade steel drums with resealable lids. These are the holy grails of steel drums. You don't have to cut off the top, and they are more useful like for bulk food storage, feed storage, storage in general, or an outdoor garbage can. Even those blue plastic barrels are useful and people buy them. They may be used for rain collection, planters, compost bins, floating docks, or whatever you can think of. Most people don't realize that you can pick them up for nothing. Now, some smaller companies may try to sell them. When you're receiving oil drums quicker than you can sell them, it's easier to give them away than to sell or dispose of them. So actually you might be doing the company a favor by taking them away, saving them disposal costs. And here's the best part. They're free. You just need to find a reoccurring free source. I stumbled across my source by luck. I was paying $10 a barrel and I would convert them into burn barrels, still making $20 a sale. Then someone messaged me out of the blue saying they got 20 piled up behind their shop and I can take them for free. They were used for rust control and bed liners. Not the cleanest stuff to work with, but they were free. Then I was talking to my buddy about it and he mentioned that he got a buddy with a snow clearing company and he got tons of barrels and I can have them for free. They were used as some anti-icer to make easier snow removal, so they are non-flammable and are environmentally safe. Jackpot. Now don't forget about your transportation. To be the most efficient, you'll need to fill up a truck and a trailer. If you don't have one, maybe you got a buddy that will lend you theirs. This way you can minimize gas expenses and time traveling. But even if you only have a truck or a friend with a truck, you can still fit in 6 or 8 depending on the size of the truck bed. Next, it's time to cook. Burn barrels. Make burn barrels. First, you'll want to relieve the pressure inside. You can do this by removing the caps on top. Sometimes you can do it by hand, but if it gets stuck, I made up this fancy tool to remove the caps. Next, you'll want to clean it. Nothing too fancy, they're being used as burn barrels. Then, you'll need something to cut off the top. There's many options like a plasma cutter, air chisel, sawzall, jigsaw, angle grinder, or this dedicated tool used to open drums. Personally, I use an angle grinder. You can either cut the inside rim using a cutting disc. These discs are around 50 cents each, and one disc can last around 2 barrels. You'll want to give it a once over and make sure there are no sharp edges where you cut. You can either grind the sharp edges down or bang them down with a hammer. Now you can use a flap disc, but these discs are over $1 each and may only last 2 or 3 barrels. Grind the edge on an angle and then just get a rubber mallet or a hammer and then you just bang off the top until it comes off. Using the flap cutting disc takes a little bit longer, but it does leave a smooth finish going around the rim and you won't have to worry about cutting yourself. but I plan to switch to a drum opener because it's safer and I wouldn't need to keep buying cutting discs. Whatever option you choose, always consider your safety first. Always make sure it's empty and use a non-sparking tool to open the barrel if the contents are flammable or explosive. There could be fumes still in the barrel and explode. If you do want to purge out the fumes, people online suggest using dry ice or filling with water. As for personal protective equipment, ear protection, eye protection, face shield for the sparks, respirator for the fumes, fire retardant coveralls, and a hose or a fire extinguisher. Once you cut off the top, time to cut the holes for ventilation. You'll need a drill. If you're on a budget, you can pick up a quarter drill fairly cheap, and you'll need these step drill bits. These are the perfect bits for drilling holes in the side of the barrel. I make 8 holes about 5/8 of an inch wide. Make a hole 5 inches from the bottom and another hole a few inches down from the middle. Then make another 2 holes on the opposite side and 2 holes between them on the other side. Then make another 2 holes on the opposite side. I recommend not making too many holes because of the time, and also it may start to affect the integrity of the sides. And I don't make them too big because you might get them flankers or whatever you call them, those burning ambers that pop and escape the fire. You also want to make at least 1 hole in the bottom to let water drain out. So now that we've got our finished burn barrels, how do we sell them? This will all depend on where you live. Where I live, most traffic is on Facebook Marketplace and a local classified site. Other popular local marketplaces are Kijiji and Craigslist. I also sell burn barrels from my end of the summer yard sale and even just throw a burn barrel at the end of the driveway with a for sale sign. I usually only do this if I'm out in the garage or getting stuff done in the yard. Now, how much you sell them for will depend on the market. So you need to do a bit of research and see what others are selling theirs for. Where I live, steel drums uncut go for $15 to $20, while burn barrels go for $30 to $40. As you start to sell burn barrels, especially if you live in a small town, you'll be known to sell burn barrels and more people will buy their burn barrels from you. And burn barrels may only last a year or a few years depending on abuse, so you might get reoccurring customers every year. You likely won't be selling these like hotcakes, but even if you can sell like 34 a year at $30 each, that's over $1,000. It's not life-changing money, but a bit of extra cash here and there can help. And the best part, most of that is pure profit since we're getting the oil drums for free. As for your time, once you get a hang of it, you could probably cut 4 barrels an hour. So that's $120 an hour, minus picking up the barrels, cleaning them out, and dealing with the sale. So maybe realistically $60 an hour, which is still impressive. And if you have other responsibilities, this is perfect for you as you can make the barrels whenever you have free time. As for selling them, you can schedule times you are home for people to come pick them up, or I've done this multiple times, just leave the burn barrel out for them and get them to e-transfer you the money first, or get them to leave the money in a mailbox or something. So there you have it, a simple side hustle that turns free oil drums into cold hard cash. If you found this helpful and want to see more ways to make money with blue collar side hustles, hit the like button, subscribe to Blue Collar Payday, and drop a comment below with any questions or suggestions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.